Hare Krishna. Today is Gita Gayanti. More than 5,000 years ago, on this day, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this battle will last for 18 days. Today is a good day to hear the entire Bhagavad Gita. That's mostly a practice in our temples, either in English or in Sanskrit. And it's a day to meditate on the importance of Bhagavad Gita. It's also a good day to distribute Bhagavad Gita. But I will first speak on the significance of Bhagavad Gita and then try to give a very short summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita, what's in the chapters. Om Jnanatimandasya Jananjala Shlaka Shakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamopakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shio Yoda Padakamalam Shigum Vaishnavamsa Shirupam Sarajatam Sakanaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakanalita Shivshakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchna Gauri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sutta Devi Pranamama Hari Priye Vancha Kalptabhisha Kripa Sindhuvisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani. Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Pacharani. Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskatyai Desatarani. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So, in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada first, he describes the history of Bhagavad Gita, that the history of the Pandavas, Bhagavad Gita is a samvad. Samvad means a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. And Arjuna is Krishna's pure devotee. Krishna and Arjuna, they travel from universe to universe together. They are always together. Arjuna is a pure devotee of Krishna. But Krishna influences him through his energies, through yoga maya, and bewilders him, so that he acts as a conditioned soul, so that Arjuna can ask the appropriate questions, so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita. this appears very clearly from the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 27 and 28. In one purport, Srila Prabhupada said, Arjuna is feeling compassion for his family members. It's because of him being soft-hearted, and that's a sign of being a pure devotee. In the next purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Arjuna's affection for his family members was a sign of him being in Maya, in illusion, and its weak-heartedness. Seems two opposite things. In one purport says it's because he's a pure devotee, and in the next purport he says it's because he is in Maya. But he's both. He's a pure devotee, and he's brought into Maya by the will of Krishna so that he can ask the right questions. So that's the mystery of Arjuna, that which Srila Prabhupada explains. Bhagavad Gita starts in an introduction. Srila Prabhupada explains that Dhritarashtra had normally to be the king, but he was born blind. And therefore he could not be the king. Therefore, the heritage of the throne went to his younger brother, Pandu. And we know Pandu had 5 sons, the Pandavas, but these sons were actually the sons of demigods, not because it's a whole story in the beginning of the Mahabharata. Pandu was hunting in the forest, and he was killing deer, but when he shot his arrow, he heard a cry, a human cry, and he found that he shot a man who was on the verge of being sexually united with his wife. But it was a Brahmin, and he cursed him. He cursed him that once you have sexual unison with your wife, you will die. So he was cursed like that. And then later, of course, he had 2 wives, Madri and Kunti. But Kunti, who pleased the great sage, got from the sage a mantra to call any demigod she wanted. So she called, with the agreement of Pandu, she called these demigods, and she got children from these demigods. She used first the mantra in secret, and then she called Surya, and then Karna was born from that. But because it was before her marriage, she didn't want anyone to know. And she put him in a basket on the river, and a carpenter found this little baby and raised Karna. And then, of course, she called Dharmaraj, and then Yudhishthira was born. And she called the, Vayu. Bhima was born. She called Indra, and Arjun was born. But then Madri went to Pandu and said, I also want children. And Pandu asked Kunti to give her the mantra. And she was taught a mantra by Kunti. And Madri called the twin Kumaras. And Nakula and Sadev was born. That were 5 Pandavas. But then at a certain time, that somewhere or another, that Pandu became attracted to Madri and wanted union, but he forgot the curse and he died. Pandu died untimely. Then Queen Kun, Madri, she went into the funeral pyre together with Pandu, followed him in death. And Kunti was alone with the Pandavas, and the sages brought her to Astinapur, Dhritarashtra. And there the Pandavas grew up. They grew up, but from the beginning they had an enmity with the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, especially Duryodhana, the eldest son. And these sons of Dhritarashtra made plans to kill the Pandavas in so many ways. They tried to poison Bhima. They tried to burn them in a house of shellac. All criminal activities. At a certain time, Duryodhana went to his father and said, I cannot be happy like that. We have to kill these Pandavas. Of course, Dhritarashtra was the king. And he said, I will try to find a solution. But of course, Dhritarashtra was materially blind, but also spiritually. He had great affection for his sons, although his sons were transgressors of the codes of religion in so many ways. So many ways. But Dhritarashtra consulted with Vidura, with Dronacharya, with Bhishmadev, and they concluded, yes, they suggested to the king, you divide the kingdom in 2 and give each a half. So Dhritarashtra wanted to give advantage to his sons. So he gave the Pandavas a piece of land which was barren. There was nothing. Indraprastha was like a desert. There was nothing. But the Pandavas accepted. But they were great devotees of the Supreme Lord of Krishna. And with the help of Krishna and with the help of demigods and so on, they built a great city in Indraprastha. And because they were always following the codes of religion and took shelter of Krishna, everything became fertile and beautiful trees and flowers and so many, that it became the most beautiful part of the world. Although it was before barren. And the enmity was growing day by day. That Duryodhana became very envious. And with agreement of his father, he invited them for a gambling match. Yeah. Well, many things happened between. But anyway, in the gambling match, with the help of Sakuni, cheating the Pandavas lost everything. And they were banned to go into the forest for 14 years. And they tried to undress Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, for this insult to Draupadi, who was a great devotee of Krishna. All those were insulted because they wanted. Anyway, it's a big story, the Mahabharata. I give just some highlights, but they were banned for 14 years. The first 13 years, they were banned in the forest, and the 14th year, they had to be incognito. But after these 14 years were over, the Pandavas came back and challenged the Kauravas, the sons of Duryodhana and all their allies, in a war. And that's the war of Kurukshetra. And today, more than 5,000 years ago, the first day of this battle, that Krishna tells this, speaks Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada in introduction writes, has 5 topics. It explains who Ishvara is, who the Supreme Lord is. It explains Jiva, who we are. It explains what karma is, what the activities are of the living entities. It explains what Prakriti is, material nature, and who controls material nature. And it explains what Kala is, time. These are 5 topics discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita explains the relationship between these 5. And one who understands the relationship between 5 can liberate himself from material entanglement. Now, the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is on the chariot with Arjuna, and they have a dialogue, but that dialogue could be heard by the mercy of Vyasadeva, by Sanjaya, who was the secretary of Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya could see what was going on in the battlefield and heard also the conversation, and he was telling it to Dhritarashtra. But the Bhagavad Gita starts with Dhritarashtra asking to Sanjaya, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu, what did they do on that battlefield? And then Sanjaya starts to explain. And the first part of the first chapter is called the Duryodhana Gita. is Duryodhana, the eldest son from Dhritarashtra, the most evil person. He was speaking to Dronacharya, his teacher, who was also fighting on his side, together with Bhishmadev and others. And he gives an overview of the battlefield, he says, and he's mentioning the greatest Maharatis, the greatest fighters. And he presents all these fighters on this side, and he says, yes, we are unconquerable. Especially Bhishmadev is unconquerable. So he was certain for the victory because they were with twice as much people, kshatriyas, and very powerful kshatriyas like Karna, Dronacharya, Bhishmadev. But he mentions also the other side, the Pandavas, Arjuna, the great archer, and Bhima, who has great strength. Of course, especially Duryodhana was afraid of Bhima, because Bhima vowed that when they touched Draupadi, I will kill all these sons of Dhritarashtra, all of them, and I will drink their blood. So they were afraid. Then he was glorifying them, Bhishmadev, and Bhishmadev is blowing his conch shell as a response. The conch shell is a sign of Vishnu. So Bhishmadev is saying, yes, I'm a Kshatriya. I will do my duty and fight, but victory and defeat is in the hands of the Lord. And then, in the middle of the first chapter, we have Arjuna and Krishna, and they are sitting on the chariot. And Krishna is a chariot driver of Arjuna. He's serving Arjuna because Krishna has vowed, I do not take part in the battle. And because Arjuna and Krishna and Duryodhana went together to see Krishna in Dvarka, at which sides will you fight? And Krishna said, I will not take a fight, but he said to Duryodhana, you can have me, and to Arjuna, you can either have me or a few Aksharinis of my army. And Arjuna got the first choice, and he said, I want you, Krishna. And Duryodhana was very happy because he had 2 Akshinas, great, something like that. Many, many thousands of soldiers at this side, Kshatriyas. So therefore, Krishna did not fight, but he became the charioteer of Krishna, of Arjuna. And Arjuna instructed Krishna, you put my chariot between the 2 armies. And he drove the chariot between the 2 armies. But it was, this was a front line of 80 miles. But he put the chariot right before Bhishmadev and Dronacharya, Arjuna's grandfather and his teacher. And when Arjuna saw them, he said to Krishna, I don't want to kill them. They are my family members. But if you kill family members, it's in the scriptures, then sin will overcome us, he says. And this is the opposite from what I want. My heart is filled with compassion. I don't want to kill them. That because sin will overcome us. We will not be able to enjoy, even if I win a kingdom. I cannot enjoy because I want to enjoy it with them, and I'm going to kill them. And when we have this war, millions of these Kshatriyas will be killed, and there will be so many widows. They will be unprotected, and there will be Varna Sanghara. There will be degradation of womanhood. That and how can I kill my teacher? Then in the beginning of the second chapter, Krishna says, I'm confused. That I don't want to fight Krishna. Krishna replied very heavy, and he says to Arjuna, this I did not expect from you. You are supposed to be an Aryan, one who knows the value of life. Where is this weakness of heart overcome you? You are a Kshatriya. They are transgressors. You must kill them. That's your duty. And Arjuna said, yes, Arjuna, but some way or another, I cannot do my duty. Because this family attachment is preventing me. That I'm confused, Krishna. I accept you as my spiritual master. And then Krishna smiles. He's going to take the role of a spiritual master and speak Bhagavad Gita. And the first thing he says to Arjuna is, you are a fool. That one who is learned does not lament either for the living or the dead. Because you, Arjuna, all these kings here and me, we have existed in the past, now, and we will never stop to exist. The spirit soul is eternal. That because yes, the body changes from boyhood to middle age till old age. That it changes, and we must tolerate these changes. The soul inside doesn't change. You must tolerate it and become a dhira based on this transcendental knowledge. You should tolerate the good and bad in this world, heat and cold, enjoyment, suffering. That you should become equal to that, because that relates to the body, Arjuna. You should become equal to that. And then you are fit for liberation. And then Krishna starts to explain what is pervading the whole body is indestructible. But pervading the whole body is indestructible. That's consciousness. The soul is indestructible. It cannot be cut to pieces. It cannot be burnt. It doesn't take birth. It never came into being, and it will never stop to be. So you want you think you will kill Bhishma Dev, but you cannot kill him, because he's the soul. That the body is like a covering of the soul, and you can only remove the covering. And Bhishmadev is an old body. But when you kill him, then he will get a new, fresh body. His body is 140 years old. That's good. No reason to lament. Even if you don't believe in the soul, Krishna tells Arjuna, before you took birth, you did not exist, and after death, you did also not exist. So you go to the unmanifest again. Nothing lost what you was before. So it gives knowledge of the soul. But then Krishna says, yes, you are a Kshatriya, you should act as a Kshatriya and do your duty. That you should do your duty on the basis that you are a soul. Therefore, you should act without being attached to the results. And you should also not be attached to not acting. That is, yeah. You should become a sthita prajna, fixed in the soul. And then Arjuna is asking, but a sthita prajna, what are his qualities? And Krishna starts to explain the spirit soul. Yeah, one with sthita prajna is equal in happiness and distress. That so Krishna starts to give transcendental knowledge how to act as a soul, and he explains also how that we are becoming conditioned in this world. That by meditating on the sense objects, we become attracted and we develop lust, we want to enjoy. But then that enjoyment is not coming as expected, and there is frustration, and from frustration comes anger, from anger comes bewildering of memory, and then one loses one's intelligence. That's the problem, Arjuna, in this world. But to come out of that, Paramdristvanivartati, you must cultivate a higher taste, the taste of acting as a spirit soul. But for this, you must control your mind and be very careful, because by meditating on the sense objects, even one of the senses roaming on it can drag you down. Therefore, a wise has a different lifestyle in goodness. What's nights for the introspective state is daytime for the common man, the materialistic people. It was daytime for the common man, this night for the introspective stage. But you must learn to tolerate all this happiness and distress and all these material desires that pop up in your mind. Don't try to fulfill these material desires. You become disturbed. If you let them go, these material desires, you become peaceful. And then in the third chapter, Krishna explains how to act as a spirit soul. That Shaknarta karma noita lokayam karma bandhana. If you act as a sacrifice for Vishnu, for the Supreme Lord, then there is no karma, Krishna says. So we should Shakyasista Sinasanta Munche Sarvakilbisa. Those who are not offering their food before eating are eating sin. And then Krishna starts to explain how to act as a spirit soul. Acting as a spirit soul means acting without attachment or aversion. acting with the understanding that everything belongs to Krishna. No sense of proprietorship. And acting for giving enjoyment to Krishna, not with the idea I'm going to enjoy. If one acts as such, one acts without being influenced by the results of one's activities. Because in that way one becomes free from attachment and aversion. Because Arjuna, these are paripantina. They are obstacles on the path of the path of spiritual emancipation. And then Arjuna is so therefore Krishna says you should do your duty, not trying to do the duty of others. You want to become a renunciant. No, your duty is kshatriya. You should do your duty, but you do it without attachment to the results. For my pleasure. But Arjuna is protesting and says, but Krishna, I want to give up this attachment and aversions, but I'm so attached to my family. How can I give it up? What's this force? What makes me act according to this attachment? Although I do not want it. Krishna says, Arjuna, it is lust only, born of the mode of passion. That this lust causes anger. And this lust is the enemy number one, Arjuna. Because avitam jnana metina jnana nityavarna, it covers your intelligence, this lust, and makes you act according to this attachment and aversion. So this lust you want to enjoy with your family members. But you are a spirit soul, you are here only for a few moments. You are going to fight, you can die every moment. So everything has a beginning and an end in this world. It's not worthwhile, this attachment. Because this lust makes you forget that you are a servant of Krishna, a spirit soul, and you identify with the body, which is very temporary. And this lust can never be satisfied, Arjuna. And Arjuna is asking, where can I find this enemy? How can I kill him? Krishna says this lust is in the senses, in the mind, the intelligence, in the body, Arjuna. And how you can kill it? First you must know where it is situated. But then you must know that higher than the sense object are the senses, higher than the senses is the mind. And higher than the mind is the intelligence, and higher than the intelligence is the soul. So you must strengthen your intelligence with transcendental knowledge, Arjuna, which I'm now speaking, Krishna says. Yes, I'm speaking it. That transcendental knowledge of how to act as a spirit soul. So then Arjuna, he tells Arjuna, you should hear transcendental knowledge. And when you hear transcendental knowledge, the soul with its will desire to realize that and pushes the intelligence to apply it. And intelligence engages the mind and senses in the service of Krishna. And that is acting spiritually. Then you become free from this attachment and aversion. But for this you need transcendental knowledge, Arjuna. I explained this transcendental knowledge to the sun god 120 million years ago. And now I'm explaining it again to you, because it was broken in due course of time. And you can understand it, Arjun, because you are non-envious, and you are my friend. Arjuna says, but Arjun, how can I understand that? You were born at the time that I was born, more or less. That how is it then that you explained it to the sun god millions of years ago? Oh, Arjun, that when I explained it 120 million years ago to the sun god, and you were also there, but in another capacity. You had a body of fire to live on the sun. And I explained this knowledge to the sun god, and you heard it also. But you forgot. I did not. Why do you forget? Forget because you are changing bodies, Arjun. And I do not change bodies. I appear by my eternal energy that I've always the self-same body. And when one understands who I am and what my activities are, my pastimes and actions, then it doesn't take birth again in this world, Arjun. Because then my devotee realizes his position as subordinate servant in devotional service. But Arjun, many great sages in the past have become free from attachment, fear, and anger, and became purified by knowledge of me. And then they developed love of God. So then Krishna starts to explain the transcendental science in Bhagavad Gita. This is more or less an introduction. But I hope by hearing this that today you will hear the entire Bhagavad Gita. Before this class, I heard the first 9 chapters by Vaisheshika Prabhu in English, very nice, and I will hear the entire Bhagavad Gita today. It's good to put that in our sadhana, that every year I'm going to Prague, and in Prague there is a devotee who knows all the Sanskrit verses of Bhagavad Gita. But it's not for nothing. Every day he's repeating 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita in 1 hour. That's part of his sadhana. And next day, the next 6 chapters, and the third day, the next 6 chapters. Every 3 days he has recited Bhagavad Gita. And then it goes deep. We need to hear this Bhagavad Gita again and again, because the Bhagavad Gita is Gita Upanishad, is the essence of all transcendental knowledge. Gita Upanishad. The Vedas has 4 components. The Vedas have the Samhita. Samhita is the text, original text. And then you have the Brahmanas, if nothing to do with Brahmins. But Brahmanas means they are explaining how to pronounce it correctly, the Vedas. And the third part of each Veda, you have the Atharva Veda, Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda. That the third part is the Aranyaka, how to perform sacrifice for each Veda. But the fourth part is Upanishad, the knowledge of the Vedas. And all the transcendental knowledge, there are 108 Upanishads or more. The essence of that is Bhagavad Gita. It's the Gita Upanishad. It is summarized all Vedic knowledge. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, yes, you need to understand. When you understand me, you don't take birth again. But to understand Krishna, we need the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is about Krishna. By that we can understand Krishna. This Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita are related. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavatam relates to Bhagavad Gita, and in Bhagavad Gita relates to the Bhagavatam. Therefore, Bhagavatam class is important to understand Krishna. But reciting Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Gita class is the essence. All knowledge is in Bhagavad Gita and can bring us up to perfection. These are just a few words glorifying the Bhagavad Gita. So, any questions or comments?
No questions or comments, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, then I wish you a nice day. Please hear Bhagavad Gita today. And if you're really serious about it, recite Bhagavad Gita every day. One chapter reciting 20 minutes, Sanskrit and verses. You will benefit enormously. Thank you very much. I wish.
Sorry, Maharaj. There is a question from Jagannath Charan Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, this is a simple question, but when Krishna is on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, I know that in his original form he doesn't age like everybody else ages. How old does he look? Like how old does Krishna age when he comes in his original form? Because a lot,
yeah,
the pictures, a lot of them look almost like he's an adult.
Yeah.
So I was just asking.
Yeah, that is Krishna so-called ages, but it's not aging like an ordinary child. It's aging much more quicker, that 1.5 times quicker. That so at age of from the first 5 years in the Kaumara age, then the next 5 age is in the Pauganda age, then he's a coward boy. And then Kashori age, when he becomes 10, then he has the rasa dance with the gopis. And it is said when he was 10 years and 9 months, he killed Kamsa. But he grows up to 16-year-old, because that is his eternal form in Goloka Vrindavan. And he never becomes older. So it's always useful that they may make different pictures, but I'm repeating what Prabhupada says, that it doesn't age above 16, because that is his eternal form. That okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Bhagavad Gita ki. Jai.
His Bhakti Prabha Maharaj ki jai.